We got another one. Let me introduce you to Derek Stribling. He's 39. Derek lives in Lakeland. You know, he was also a basketball player for UT and Tennessee Tech, and was a free agent or in the draft for the NBA back in the day. What does he do now? Well, he's a teacher and a dean. That's right. He was at Crossroads Christian School, where he was the dean of students, a history teacher, a basketball coach, and a life management coach. Now, the life management that he was teaching these children is frightening, is absolutely frightening. And here's how it all started. Victim number one, who was 18 and a student at the school, was having trouble with her father, and she said, I'm afraid that I'm not going to be able to come to school anymore. So she's confiding in Derek Stribling, her dean, her life management teacher. And she, during the conversations, it brought up that, by the way, the teacher told her, you've got a D in class right now. And she asked, was there any extra work I can do to bring my D grade up? And he went, as a matter of fact. And they started talking about sex. And it was filthy talk, nasty talk. And as a result, he began to do all kinds of nasty things and send it to her through social media. He asked to meet her to have sex, and she refused because he was married. Did you hear what I said? He's married. He's a dean of students. He is a basketball coach. He's a life management coach. But this went on, and we were notified. We were notified. The principal learned of it, notified us, and we began an investigation. During the investigation, by the way, we learned that her D ended up an A. Isn't that amazing? So he used his position as her teacher and her low grade as the nexus, and they taught the nasty. So as this investigation's gone on, victim one has backed out of having sex. He had arranged a date and time and location. But let me take you back to victim two. Victim two and victim one were talking. Victim two said when she was 14, she's now 16, 2 years ago, he did the same stuff with her. The nasty video clips, the inappropriate behavior, the sexual content. And on one occasion, now I'm not going to stutter here, the suspect kissed and fondled the 14-year-old at the school in the equipment closet about 2 years ago. So victim two and victim one are talking, and it's like, oh my gosh. Oh, by the way, victim two was on the basketball team at the time that he was coaching. We really, really, really fear there are other victims out there that were like this 16-year-old that were afraid, that didn't report it, that think, well, maybe I did some ha-ha, fun talk. No, that's not all right. He's in a position of authority over her and them. We truly believe, based on his pattern and conduct, there very well may be other victims, and we want to know about that. He is locked up right now in the county jail, and our goal is to send him to prison for a very long time for taking advantage of children, of students of the Crossroad Christian School who were entrusted to his care. This is horribly offensive at every level and wrong at every level. He's supposed to be the adult. He also was grooming the parents. We talked to parents who thought he was a great guy, was glad that he was in a position of being their teacher because he was so nice. You know what we learn about deviants, pedophiles, predators? They have charisma, they have personality, they attach themselves to not only the victims but to the parents. So that's right, parents. He very well likely has befriended you the whole time. He can be sexually battering your child. We need to know. The parents need to have a conversation with their children to see if there are more victims. Please help us. This is a major ongoing investigation by our Special Victims Unit at this time. Are there any questions?
Was he still working at the school up until his arrest?
Yes, he was. He was suspended by the principal. Then the principal came to us the next morning after the suspension and notified the sheriff's office.
You know, we've seen in these two cases that this had gone on or began 2-3 years ago. What does it say about how women who are being victimized like this can be intimidated to the point where it can take that amount of time?
Well, they become embarrassed. They somehow blame themselves. Well, maybe my conversation or my lack of conversation or my lack of saying no makes me a participant. That's not true. So that's why we feel there's other young ladies who were groomed into doing things that's horribly embarrassing, so they're just going to absorb it and keep quiet. It'll come out years later if they don't deal with it now. So parents, if there are other victims, help your children deal with it now so we can deal with him now. We know there's at least 2, and if there's 2, why aren't there 3 or 4 or 5? He's worked there for a long time. He's had a lot of access to a lot of children. We've got to know. We want to help the children. We want to make sure they have the appropriate services because they're victims. They're child victims. And he is a bad man. He is a deviant. He is a pedophile and a deviant.